Welcome to Come Back with Erica Cobb, Conversations with my sister Ebonie, your bonus episode. So, welcome, Ebonie Cobb.
And I'm back.
Yes, you are back. So, what's on your mind this week?
So I've had this interesting thing happen lately. When I'm in car share rides, or what are they? Car share is the proper way to say it.
Yeah, car share.
I've been like getting in, and today I had a really interesting one where I got in a ride, and like 5 minutes into the ride, the driver calls someone and is like, "Hey, I'm not gonna make my payment on time. Can I get it pushed back?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is like a private conversation." So I pop my headphones in, and I'm like ignoring everything that's happening, just kind of play it off like, this guy's clearly trying to, figure out some things in his life. So he finishes the call, and then he like makes sure to like tell me, "Oh, this is what's happening in my life." And it kind of went on more towards the apology didn't feel like he was apologizing for like making the call. It made it felt more like he was like, "So an extra tip would be great."
Yeah.
And I was like sitting there, and I'm like, I like started off with being like, "Oh, I didn't hear you. I have my headphones in. No worries. Like, go ahead and take any calls you need to take." And then like he just proceeded to go on and on and on about what's going on in his life
Well,
and
what's going
how
on? What's the tea?
he. I feel bad if you watch this. Like, he's behind on his car loan, and he needs this for his job, and blah blah blah. And I was like sitting there, and I'm like, "Yeah, man, that's crazy. Best of luck to you." But then this has happened to me before when I get in the car, and then I'm like kind of trapped, and like I'm just hearing this story, and then like it always kind of ends with like, "So anything you can tip me would be great." And I'm like, "Yeah, I was gonna tip you, but like now I feel uncomfortable because like you've told me this story, and like I'm trapped in the backseat of your car." So like,
Yeah.
has this happened to you?
Well, I was just thinking that there was a story last week about an entertainer, and I don't remember who it was, but they were complaining about their Uber Eats driver because they sent the person a message saying that if asking if they could give him, like, cash app him money basically so that he could get money for gas because he didn't realize how far the restaurant was from the place that he was dropping off the food. And it turned into this whole back and forth exchange. And this particular individual was like, "You know what, man, just forget it. I'm canceling the order." And the guy insisted on bringing it. So it was kind of like a standoff. And really, I think that this has become a problem more so because, well, let's face it, these companies are not paying their gig employees like adequate amounts of money. So if people aren't tipping, which I think is, in my opinion, I get into this heated exchange almost every year on social media. I do think that tips are a part of the service. Do I think paying someone's car note is a part of the service? I don't feel like that's information that we really need, and it feels a little manipulative.
It felt very manipulative, and I'm like, I'm stuck in the car with you. Like, I can't get out. I've already paid for this fare, but like, it felt very uncomfortable, like making that phone call in that moment. I'm like, you could have waited 7 minutes after I was out of the car to decide to make that phone call.
Yeah.
But to make it and then make it a point to tell me about it just felt very much like you're trying to get me to be like, "Cool, how much do you need?" And I'm like, this is a basic ride. Like, I can't afford, like, I don't even have a car. Like, you're doing better than me right now. So, like, I'm sorry. Like, I just kind of have to, like, keep my head down and, like, put the headphones back in and, like, just awkwardly go with the rest of the 7 minutes. But, yeah, I feel very uncomfortable when those situations happen.
Well, I think that, obviously we're on the verge of what seemingly is another recession. People are really out there struggling. I really give it to anyone who's actually doing something about their situation as opposed to just like sitting around and hoping that things get better, because people are really out here hustling. And anytime I see somebody like on a hustle, I'm always like, hey, yeah, I am going to give them a bigger tip because they're working for, what they're doing. But at the same time, it's like the responsibility can't fall on the average citizen to help pay your rent or your car payment or any of those things. And ultimately, I think it is going to come down to legislation that isn't going to allow these huge companies like ride shares or food pickups and stuff to continue to profit so much off of these delivery services when the people that they're actually utilizing aren't profiting nearly the same and they can barely afford to pay for the gas that they're using in order to get from place to place. So that's going to come down to a much higher pay grade and power status than we have, for sure.
True. True. So what's on your mind?
Ooh, I'm happy that you asked, because what's on my mind is our fan base. Yes.
We have a fan base. We have a
Well,
fan base.
they're the followers who comment on all of our videos, and this has been so much fun because, of course, I've been doing Comeback with Erica Cobb since 2016, and generally it's like one-on-one conversations, and now they're communicating with both of us. And one of the shows, a clip that I actually put on social media, was the debate iPhones versus Androids that we did a couple weeks back. And it was really funny because I got messages like at Sharon N98. She says, I think every family is having this conversation. And my friend group text has one person with an Android. So she has her eyes rolling on that. I love, yeah, I love Mama 22 said, iPhone, sweetie, bring her back home, Erica Cobb. I was there. The videos and pictures are horrendous, and I was tired of my family criticizing me. Come home. It's okay. Lord, baby, can you FaceTime? And she's laughing about it. Then we got some that are a little bit more personal, like our sister-in-law, who is just cracking up. Or our friend Angel from Angel Aesthetics says, she kills it for us with the group chat referring to you. Yeah, so it's been very, very personal. But also, let me be very clear. There were a lot of people who were on your side.
Thank you.
Me writing on the wall said, Team Android, clapping for Ebonie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Need that. We're out here.
At Darlin Pop says, it is absolutely propaganda. I love my MacBook, but tell me 3 things that are both useful and increase productivity that iPhones can do that Android hasn't already been doing for years. I'll wait. Hashtag Team Android.
We out here. We out here. Trying to make us feel like the minority.
At LCakes181 says, no, keep the Android. And then also at King D Reckless says, Samsung is better than iPhone, hands down. LOL. Samsung makes a lot of iPhone parts, though. So just much like our family, we are also apparently an Instagram chat divided. But I appreciate y'all chiming in each week. It's been so much fun getting to know you, the listeners, a little bit better. Make sure that you're following me at this point, because we know that Ebonie's, I would say, on the fence, but really feeling like she should not join social media. And I can understand all of her reasons why, but I'm going to continue to press it because now you need to be able to communicate with the people.
With the people. I am communicating. What are we doing right now?
Well, this is kind of a one-way conversation. This will be an opportunity for you to connect with the people who are listening to the podcast.
You know, I feel like as the youngest child, I'm gonna do what I've done best and just let you be my mouthpiece.
Yeah.
So on social media, just go ahead and let you do all the work.
Great. I thank you for that.
Not a problem. I thank you.
So you're listening to Come Back with Erica Cobb, your bonus episodes, conversations with my sister Ebonie. Today, I would say it's a great sibling debate, but I don't know if it's really much to debate. This is more a conversation that came up in a show that I'm watching that I'm trying to influence Ebonie to watch. So as y'all know, I am a huge Bravo-holic, and there is a new show called Summer House Martha's Vineyard. Now, what I find to be the most fascinating and important about this show is that it's one of the few shows on Bravo that has an all-black cast. Not only that, but it's also taking place in Martha's Vineyard. And for those of you who know the history of Martha's Vineyard and Inkwell, this was one of the few places that were delegated for black beaches. So this is a place that black people could come and get in the ocean and have fun and celebrate like family vacations. And now there's a lot of historical context to it. Now, they do touch on this in the show about the historical context, but of course, like any other reality show, there's a lot of drama. So in this particular show, and I encourage you guys to watch it, it comes on Sunday nights on Bravo after Real Housewives of Atlanta. So it's a black.
Black.
Sundays on Bravo. So we need to watch this show so they get a second season. Y'all know how this goes, right? So there is a center couple, and they are the only married couple in the house. It's Jasmine and Silas Cooper. Now, Jasmine has apparently made being married her entire personality and identity, although they've only been married for 3 months. So she's constantly trying to figure out how to navigate having her friend group and also being married. Now, important to note, Silas and Jasmine were initially dating in the pandemic, so they didn't really have an opportunity to mingle with their friends because they were kind of isolated this entire time. So it made me think, because I have some life changes going on myself soon, do your friends change when they get married?
I know my friends watch this. So I'm scared to say.
You can just be honest. I mean, there's kind of,
I love all of my friends, the married ones included. Uh, there's a change, but it just depends on their personality. I feel like it depends on their personality before that. So if they were always an independent person, I feel like the change is kind of there, but they still have that independence. But also if like they weren't really an independent person and like while they were dating, they were always super attached to each other, then I don't like it doesn't change. I think like you know how like people are always attached when they're dating. You're just like, yo, can you guys hang out individually, or do you
yeah.
always have to come together? I feel like that just doesn't change when you get married. Like when you're independent, you're usually kind of independent, and your spouse might come along every once in a while, but it's not the centerpiece of who you are because you never really made your life about relationships to begin with.
Yeah.
So I think that it really depends. Like we don't like talking about the show. We don't know their personalities beforehand. Were they really attached people? What were their relationships before? Was it always like they were always next to their partner at all times?
Well, so that's a little inside scoop on this show, Summer House Martha's Vineyard on Bravo. Because Jasmine actually, all of the people in the house are somehow connected to either Jasmine or her husband Silas. And the girls who are connected through Jasmine, mostly they connected when they all worked together at the Playboy Club in New York. So
Okay.
now it's coming out to her husband that Jasmine was kind of a party animal, although she's acting like she's all wifey and it's very much like everything's prim and proper. And now she says things like, well, your relationship doesn't count because you're not married. And to me, it's a huge turnoff because this is my second marriage and final marriage. And I really feel like for me, I don't think I've changed. And maybe, do you think I've changed since I've been married or either time I've been married?
Hmm. That's a great question. Do I think you've changed? I don't think you've changed. Let's say no, but your goals have changed.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, I don't think like you as a person. No, I think you're still the same person you've always been. Type A personality, very overprotective. Uh, like that's always there. I think just overall what you want out of things have changed.
No, that's true. Because, I mean, anytime you're in a relationship, whether you're married or not, if you have a relationship where you are true partners, I do believe that the goal becomes less individualistic and more like, how are we going to build together?
Yeah.
So, in that respect, I don't think that that's like a personality trait. I think to your point, that is the goal. But when I think about in terms of there's certain things that I probably shouldn't have been doing as an individual anyway. So when I got married, I tried to be a little less, running the streets. And not to say you shouldn't run the streets. I think if you're single and you're young, or if you're single and you're older, like do whatever you do to make you happy. Just be safe about it. But yeah, in terms of like being in control, a little bit more in control, I do feel like I'm more in control. But when I'm thinking about the difference between like married couples in my life and some single couple or some single people in my life, um, I don't see that there being much of a difference there in terms of like your personality being your relationship status.
Have you lost friends that have gotten married?
I have lost friends to relationships. Yes, absolutely. And that's like, and I mean, honestly, when you lose a friend to a relationship, it really kind of makes you think about who they were before that relationship, and maybe there was more of a compatibility there, or maybe they have just been looking for their personality in their status of where they are in life.
Mm, that's interesting. That's an interesting perspective.
Have you
Um,
lost friends to a relationship?
yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. All
So
the
what?
time.
Someone starts dating
They
someone,
start
they get
dating
married.
someone, they like kind of just fall off, like don't hang out anymore, and it's like, all right, well, you're completely wrapped up in this person, and good for you because you seem happy. But you kind of like we don't have much in common anymore. So now
Yeah.
it's like, but then also I'm always like waiting for that moment, like, oh, y'all broke up, so you calling me again? Like we're gonna be friends again? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happens. I mean, sometimes people just get wrapped up in it, especially during the pandemic when we really weren't hanging out a lot with a lot of
Hmm.
people. People were getting really wrapped in a relationship and they weren't seeing much outside of, their own apartments.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it happens, but yeah, I think it really, I think it depends on the person. If there's someone who's like, I'm independent, but this relationship is a part of me and I include it in certain areas. Like, I don't know, I'm not the best relationship expert. But like, it really just depends. Some people are very, I have to check in every day, all the time, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Some people like, we trust each other and we're good.
Yeah.
And
See, I feel like when I was younger, it was a lot more common to lose friends to relationships. Now I have such a small group of, like, a small circle, that if or when that happens, it's a little bit more shocking because there's a little bit more foundation to those relationships. So I am kind of used to, whether it's a friend of mine or a friend of Anthony's, they start dating someone, then they start bringing that person around us. We start doing things
together.
together. Even if it's not all the time, there's kind of like, even if it's only a couple times a year, there's just this understanding like, oh yeah, y'all were friends
Yeah.
before, we're cool, everybody's cool with each other. So it makes sense to kind of like integrate that. But when you lose a friend that you were close to, especially at this stage in my life, because they're in a relationship and that relationship means they can no longer be friends with you, then I question it a little bit more, because it's like, okay, so were you the person that I knew for all this time, or are you the person that you need to be in order to be with this other person?
Mm.
And either way, I mean, it's their lives and it's their business, but I do question that sometimes. Like, it makes me, and you have already said I'm overprotective, but it does make me second guess, like, well, what's going on here that you aren't even allowed to speak to me
Mm.
anymore, or you aren't allowed to come around, or this person doesn't feel comfortable like being around people that were in your life before.
Mm. Just want to throw a disclaimer. Once again, all my married friends, I love you guys. Hope everything works out well. Y'all stay together forever. There is no shade towards y'all. Please always invite me to everything. I love you.
See, this is the difference between Ebony, who's like coming on my podcast, and me, who I've just been running my mouth to the general public since 1843 BC. Yeah, at this point, I guess everybody who's still in my life just understands, like, she's just gonna talk. Like, no tea, no shade. I'm just gonna say what's on my mind. But I'm also that type of personality where I just say what's on my mind, but I also anticipate that people are gonna say what's on their minds back to me. And I don't think that there's no shadiness there. It's just 100% what I'm thinking. No tea, no shade.
None at all. All love, all love. Please
She's
don't
gonna
invite
put.
me to things. Please keep sending Christmas cards. Please, like, please text me every once in a while. Like, my bad. I don't know. This is gonna come off fast, but I love you.
Wait, no, no, no. It's not. We all understand what's happening here. But I do have a question for you in terms of, like, you said maybe we're not going to text or talk every day. In terms of like friendships that you have, relationships like, because I have relationships like that too. Like, I consider people my really close friend, but we may only talk maybe 4 or 5 times a year. So do you consider 4 to 5 times a year enough to sustain a friendship?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think it's the understanding because like I've had times where I can not talk to someone for 3 months, we can pick right back up like nothing ever happened. But there's that understanding of like, oh, we don't live in the same places anymore. We're not
Yeah.
exactly doing the same things anymore. And like there is that conscious every once in a while where I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, what's going on with you? Like, let's talk, blah blah. Or I might be in town, let's hang out, let's go grab lunch. Those are like something I try to do because like I typically don't live in the same places as my friends. I've always traveled. I've always been someone who like up and leaves and moves every couple years. So it gets hard to sustain them. So I think for me, I do have friendships that like we check in every once a quarter, pretty much,
Mm-hmm.
and we can maintain that relationship. And if something does happen, there's still the comfort of reaching out to me. So
Yeah.
there is that. Like I do trust that you can still be like close to people, even though you don't have to talk every single day.
I feel the same way. And I have a really, really close friend who it took us quite a few years to understand our friendship language because she is very much a person that of her close friendships are people that she talks to all the time. And I am not a person that is going to talk to you every single day because there's so much going on. And honestly, I'm not even, honestly, by the time that I get home or finish this podcast or talk at work and then talk on this podcast, I'm all talked out, believe it or not. So,
I think I got that from your like 10,000 messages on your phone.
oh yeah, I do have a lot of
Yeah,
unread text
a lot.
messages. How many unread text messages do you have?
I don't know. It doesn't. I blocked that part out
I
of my
don't
phone.
know.
Should I check it? I don't.
I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check to see
I mean,
how many
but I'm not as
unread
busy
text
as you, so if I actually
messages.
say how many I have, it kind of just comes off as me
Uh,
just ignoring people.
I don't have 10,000.
I'm only at 90 unread.
Yeah, I'm at
Jeez.
3,547. I'm in a lot of group chats. People just randomly put me in group chats. I can't
Oh,
keep
so you're
up with all the
saying
group chats.
you're saying you don't enjoy being in group chats.
I'm not saying that I don't enjoy being in group chats. Well, not all of them, some of them, but I can't keep up. It's like sometimes, y'all, I work on live television, okay? If I am on air for hours at a time and I look at my phone and one group chat has 50 messages, I can't keep up with that.
It'd probably be less if like everybody was on either Android or on iPhone, but never mind. I digress.
Yeah, we are not going to digress. So, weigh in, let us know. First of all, how often do you have to speak with someone or see someone in a year to consider them a good friend? And also, do you feel like there are people in your life who have made their relationship status a part of their identity or a part of their personality, kind of like we're picking up from Martha's Vineyard, Summer House Martha's Vineyard on Bravo on Sundays? That is not a plug. That is just me trying to make sure that Black programming stays on television. Okay? So watch it.
That's fair. Fair.
You're listening to Come Back with Erica Cobb, Conversations with my sister Eb, your bonus episode. So, Ebony, what are you looking forward to this week?
That's a great question. What am I looking forward to? I've been off all week, so I've just been sleeping. So I'm just going to continue to finish off that sleep.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's been nice. It's been nice just sleeping. Like not
Oh,
doing anything,
that's
but
right.
sleeping.
You
Yeah.
have been off this
Yeah,
week.
I've been off this week.
I
So
haven't even heard from you.
yeah, because I've been asleep.
Oh,
It's been great.
nice.
Just quiet time, watching trash reality TV, and then having some ramen and going back to sleep. It's been pretty much my week. It's been
That's
beautiful.
that's pretty clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only time I heard from Ebony was on Monday when she was like, "Hey, y'all cooked that tri-tip?" And my husband was like, "Yeah, we cooked it. We ate it. We're going to bed."
Yeah, it was kind of messed up.
Yeah,
I
you should have
was
just come over
I
because there
was
was a lot of
really
tri-tip.
banking on that tri-tips and make me through this week. Instead, I
You
had to go
should
with
have
the
just
ramen.
come over.
I said that I would get someone to come pick it up. Like I was
Yeah.
gonna do like a delivery service
Well,
to come
that
sweep
was
it
also
up.
the issue too. No one was going to drop it off, and she didn't want to come pick it up. So, on that note, that's called
Whatever.
your fault.
Whatever. What are you looking forward to this week?
Oh man. Well, unbeknownst to me, I am leaving for Vegas tomorrow,
Pow, pow, pow.
which is kind of crazy. So, apparently Ebony knew this because she's watching our dog, but My husband and I are celebrating our 7th wedding anniversary. Now, this is important. This was the secret anniversary
Mm.
because we actually had a ceremony in July. So that's the one that everyone sends a text message saying happy anniversary for. But this one, we got married in a church. It was the legal ceremony. It was just our parents there and our friend Nicole, who actually introduced us. So we are going to take off and go to Vegas this weekend, and I'm really excited. I just found out like a couple of hours ago, so I don't like. I'm like, oh crap, I have to pack. But yeah, that's another thing that how we do Vegas because the last time we went to Vegas together with you, Eb, we went to a pool party, and although it was quite lit, it's it was way too lit for for us to do it this time. Are you trying to remember the
Yeah, I
pool
go to
party?
Vegas so much. Like, like which time was I at the
Yes,
pool?
we went
Oh, okay.
to a pool party at
Circa.
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 Yeah.
I remember. Okay, I remember this one. I remember this one.
Yeah, I just remember Ebony being in the pool, like just dancing in the middle of the pool by herself. And I think that will be memorialized as the last pool party that I ever do. It's so ironic too, because I'm like, it took us so long to be able to like, go and do a pool party with like bottle service and all that. And now I'm like, yeah, I'm too old for that.
I I mean, what's too old to be at a pool in Vegas?
I
Like,
honestly, I can't, I don't know. I don't know. Like, first of all, it's expensive as all get out. So now you start thinking about, like, huh, I could have, or maybe I could have, or maybe I could have done both. Like, you're like, is it really worth the experience? And like, I'm gonna say this, and next year I'm gonna be at a pool party in
mhm,
Vegas. Likely
for
not.
sure.
Likely I
Yeah.
won't be. But yeah, so this is probably gonna be a little bit more R&R, just dinner, maybe a little bit of gambling, some drinks, maybe a spa. I'm not really sure. But I could also see it just being like room service and sleeping.
Nothing wrong with sleeping all day. I see nothing wrong with that.
We're gonna pull a page from the Ebony Cobb week off and just sleep in Vegas. So which is something I may have done before during the pandemic. It was great. I think you should
Sure.
always find some place to just go and sleep and maybe get some room service because when you're at home doing a staycation, which I have figured out is my downfall for staycations, you're constantly thinking about all the things around the house that you could or should be doing. So you really don't get that vacation vibe. Not for you.
I felt like I had my delivery food happening every once in a while, and I don't see anything in my small apartment that needs to be done.
Well, I was gonna say, like,
Like,
your place is clean. It's not
yeah,
like you
like
have to
this.
like organize something
No,
from 5 years ago.
no. I just have my backpack full of clothes, so I'm pretty good.
You
Once again,
still have a backpack full of clothes.
yeah.
Oh man.
Still waiting for those freebies.
Yeah, okay, so here's a little inside baseball. This is a very Cobb insider, okay? So Ebony decided on a whim, we had this conversation that you were moving to Denver. So what do you have with you in Denver?
Like every outfit you've seen on this far, just variations if you haven't noticed. That's very much about it.
Yes.
Like, that's
So
that's about it.
these are all the clothes
That's
that
it.
she has. So the plan is that we are going to go to our parents' house and we are going to pack up all of Ebony's clothes in about 6 suitcases and we're going to
I don't
use
have 6 suitcases worth of clothes.
whatever it
It's-
is.
Realistically, it's gonna
How
be
many?
it'll be like 2 suitcases worth of clothes, and the most rest is like my DJ equipment and all my other stuff I left behind.
Yeah, her DJ equipment. Oh, and don't forget the Dyson.
The Dyson for sure.
Yeah, the Dyson. So we're packing these things up in suitcases and using our status to get free baggage check to get all of Ebony's stuff back to Denver, and that is called the
Economical.
Cobb Moving Service.
Economical, smart, efficient. I don't know how else to put it. I don't have many other words.
Can we really pack a Dyson in a suitcase and
How
just
do you
check
think
it?
I got it to their house?
You put it in a suitcase?
Yes.
A
hard case one.
Dyson.
Yeah.
All right.
vacuum.
Well, we'll let y'all know how this goes because I don't know. At this point, we might be leaving her at the airport when we get back to DIA so she can figure out how to get it back.
That's messed up.
Thank you for listening. And as always, have a wonderful and safe week. Bye bye.